Khalida Jarrar. She was elected to the PLC in January 2006 as one of the PFLP's 3 deputies and has continued to serve as an elected representative ever since. She is also the Palestinian representative on the Council of Europe and is currently head of the Prisoners Committee of the PLC. She played a major role in Palestine's application to join the International Criminal Court. She has been arrested multiple times by the Israeli authorities. Several of these arrests resulted in administrative detention without any charges being brought. She has also been charged with incitement and involvement in terror by an Israeli military court. The incitement charge refers to public statements she made in 2012 in which she criticized the Israeli occupation of the West Bank. The court sentenced her to 15 months in prison, of which she served 6, before being released after an international campaign on her behalf. In March 2021, after having been held without charge since 2019, she was sentenced by an Israeli military court to 2 years in prison after a plea bargain, in which she declared herself guilty of membership in an organization, the PFLP, which Israel regards as a terrorist group. She has gone on record to state that her plea bargaining is due to the exhaustingly protracted nature of legal proceedings, lack of faith in Israel's military courts, and the threat, unless she admits guilt, of serving a 7-year sentence. She was released on the 26th of September, 2021. Jarrar's father ran a toy shop business in Nablus in 1985, after a 5-year engagement, and when she had completed her master's degree at Bir Zait, Jarrar married Ghassan Jarrar, a fellow student, and now a manufacturer of children's furniture and toys, whose of which are exported to Israel. At Beit Furik, a former political activist who has been arrested 14 times and spent 10 to 11 years without trial or charges being laid under administrative detention in Israeli prisons. The couple have 2 daughters, Yafa, with a degree in law from the University of Ottawa, and Suha, with a Master's of Science degree in climate change science and policy, who grew up thinking soldiers pounding on one's doors, arrests and the imprisonment of parents was a normal part of children's lives. The couple live in Al-Bira, Ramallah. On Suha's death from cardiac arrest in July 2021, Jarrar was denied a temporary release from her imprisonment on humanitarian grounds in order to attend her daughter's funeral. Jarrar has been a human rights activist for many years. Her first of several arrests began on the 8th of March 1989 when she was detained for participating in a demonstration on International Women's Day. She has been active for a number of years in support of Palestinian prisoners, and she served as the director of Adamir, a prisoners' support and human rights NGO in Ramallah from 1993 to 2005 and remains a board member. She has also previously worked with UNRWA and has been prominently active in working with Palestinian women and advocating for women's rights. Since 1998, Jarrar has been banned from traveling outside of the occupied Palestinian territories, after she attended the Human Rights Defenders Summit in Paris that year. In 2005, the Israeli authorities refused to allow her to leave the country, the 6th such refusal since 2000, to attend a human rights conference in Ireland organized by Frontline Defenders, namely the 3rd Dublin Platform for Human Rights Defenders, programmed to take place in Dublin, the 13th to the 15th of October 2005. She had at the time never been charged with any criminal offense by the Israeli authorities. Since March 2006, she has been the PFLP's senior political leader, after the group's Secretary General Ahmad Sadat was arrested and placed in solitary confinement. She was interviewed for the Goldstone Report by telephone in 2009 on the Gaza war. After she was denied permission to leave the West Bank, Jarrar has suffered from bouts of deep vein thrombosis, and her lawyer has expressed concern that appropriate medical care for her condition might not be available in an Israeli prison. In July 2010, Jarrar was informed by a doctor that tests indicated she needed an urgent brain scan to establish an exact neurological diagnosis, since the medical equipment to make the diagnosis was not available in the West Bank, where she was then detained. She was informed that the PNA's health ministry would cover the costs of her hospitalization in Amman, but not in Israel. As a member of the Palestinian Legislative Council, expatriation for medical tests should, she was assured, could be arranged. An Israeli official for the civil administration of the West Bank said there was no security threat were she to be treated in Jordan. On August 29, she was denied transit to Jordan via the Allenby Bridge, and Shin Bet stated that she was a security threat to the region. Former European Parliament Vice President Luisa Morgantini called on the European Parliament to intervene by